to Heart with Sibongile Mofokeng on Radio Pulpit. Heart to Heart.
It is Heart to Heart. I am Sibongile Mofokeng. Praise the Lord for that. I am me. And yes, it is Heart to Heart with you up until 3 o'clock right here on Radio Pulpit, your daily companion. And I hope that you are good, family, wherever you are, that God is, keeping you well. And we gave you the sounds, beautiful sounds there coming from Tamila Men. Here I am. And yes, when we go to the Lord, we go as we are, as who we are. Even if I'm a copycat, if I copy Rithabile, I do everything that Rithabile does, how she does it. And I express myself. I get the mannerisms. But when I go to the Lord, there is no way I can pretend. I gotta be me. And so I think sometimes the Lord is like, and then who is that? What happened? Why aren't you coming out? Because I got gifts and all these things that will benefit the body of Christ, that will benefit the world in you, that you're hiding in you because of the way you are handling yourself. Because of now you have copied everything Rithabile does. If Rithabile wears such clothes, you're also wearing the same clothes. So what happened to us being us? There's no way of pretending when it comes to the Lord. No way. It's not possible. So rather say to the Lord, here I am. Lord, here I am with everything that I am, with every weakness, my shortcomings and everything. Here I am. I present myself. I surrender. It's easier that way. And the Lord can deal with you and work on you and shape you like the potter can do with the clay. You allow him to shape you. You allow him to work on you in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, and you become the best of yourself for the glory, for the kingdom, for his glory. Yes, I said that, for his glory. And so, talking about being yourself, I'm excited to be talking about the gut. When the gut is healed, then the gut will be able to can heal the brain. I'm talking to a pharmaceutical specialist, Sister Rithabile Molapisani, who is a mother of three actually, 2 boys diagnosed with autism and a girl diagnosed with ADHD. They are all on the spectrum, and she is also educating other mothers with how the gut can also work in healing their children to, healing their brains. And this has been also noted when it comes to adults. It's not only happening in children, but we also have some, anxieties. We have people going through depression. Did you know that also your diet can have can impact that space of your life? You can be healed. And I'm so delighted to be talking to her because she said, she was like, Lord, here I am. And through that, the Lord is able to minister to different families and heal them on their journeys with special needs and other things. And so we are talking about healing the gut, healing the brain, healing the body. And Rithabile is on the line. Why am I giving you a new name, my queen? Rithabisile.
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah, it's a Zulu and a Sotho mixed together. Rithabisile. How are you?
I'm good. I am very, very well. Thank you.
I'm so delighted to be talking to you. I couldn't wait for today. I couldn't wait. Okay, I couldn't wait for the morning to come. Let me say that. I know we slept around 3 with my son, but I couldn't wait for the morning to come because somehow the Lord led me. I was asking myself a question. Now, the family knows my son was diagnosed with autism and diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. And we've had some issues with the gut. And from since he was 2 years old, we've struggled with constipation and all sorts of things. And now he's a teenager, it's worse. But now I was asking myself a question, and I found that I'm so delighted I'm not the only parent who used to ask themselves this question. For stopping their children to take certain medicines that are given because they were risky. They were risky to the health of the child, and they were also they were poisonous kind of to the system. And when they changed him to this and that, still didn't work. We ended up saying, no more, no more. Let's try the natural way. And so I was so delighted to find yesterday, as he was struggling to sleep because of other reasons. Anyway, he was hungry and stuff. So anyway, so so we were surfing, and for some reason the Lord led us to this woman whose child, she says, was healed 95% of autism, and it was because of diet. All that she had to do was change the son's diet. The son was said to have a certain condition that he wouldn't even speak any longer. He won't speak. And the mother was told, like I was told, that your son won't speak. Forget it. Love your son. Just love your son. He won't reason with you. He won't tell you anything. So just love your son and go back home and just love your son. There's no teacher who will understand him. So the son stopped steaming. The son stopped all sorts of things. He stopped. And he is normal. He can reason. He can tell you the favorite food he likes, the favorite color he likes. He goes to a normal school. He is normal. He doesn't have issues with textures. You know, we talk about texture where children diagnosed with autism are concerned. He doesn't have all of that, Ritabile. And I was like, this is what you have been trying to teach us all along, that the gut is connected to the brain, which is connected to all of everything that makes a human being a human being.
Sorry, repeat that.
So the gut is connected to everything that makes a human being a human being.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because it is the biggest system in the body that receives pretty much everything that is ingested. And then it's responsible for making sure that is the food or nutrients, even if it's alcohol, whatever, that it is in a way that can be used in the body without causing the body harm.
Oh, what happened to Ritabile? All right, let me do this and just connect to my queen so that we can learn. I know that some of us are going through stuff and you are on certain diets and you are like, can I also be healed? If my gut is healed, can everything go right? Let's do this and connect to her and talk some more.
Reliable and relevant radio at the push of a button. Download our app now and listen online to Radio Pulpit, 657 AM, your daily companion.
I am yours and you are mine. You
This is Heart to Heart with Sibongile Mofokeng on Radio Pulpit. Heart to Heart.
It is Heart to Heart, and that is Esihle Siwela. I am yours. 25 minutes it is, just before 1 on 657 AM Radio Pulpit, your daily companion, connected back to Rethabile Molapisani. And we're talking about healing the gut, healing the brain and the body, healing everything through healing the gut. And so you were saying that the gut receives everything, Rethabile. Everything comes into the gut, and that's why sometimes we might have challenges with our health.
Yes, definitely. So it's like a big machine that processes everything and then allocates what goes where, in the form that the blood can be able to carry it through the mucosal membrane, and then the blood will begin to do the distribution of the nutrients in the right places. And if it happens that there's toxins in the blood, they get through the process of detoxification in the liver and then eventually being excreted through your kidneys and your bladder. But there are some, toxic substances, like we spoke about heavy metals the last time. Sometimes it can be alcohol. Sometimes it can be, the result, the chemical byproducts of some of the medications, that are prescribed. Some find their way through the blood-brain barrier, which shouldn't be the case. It shouldn't be the case for every medicine. There are those, obviously, that have been specifically manufactured to be able to have an impact on the brain function. Yeah, so it pretty much is like, think about it as a big machine. Its job is to process, to sort, and to make available for distribution.
Sure. So it's supposed to take the bad and the good separate. The bad has to be excreted. But now with sometimes the bad would escape to the brain. Is that what you're saying unto us?
The line is not very clear today. I'm not sure why.
Can you hear me, Rethabile? No, I keep on saying Rethabile. Rethabile, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. At some point, you speak very softly, and then I don't hear you.
I wonder. All right, Rethabile, but you can hear me now, and I'm so delighted that you can hear me. So the question I was asking is, so you mean that the brain would take, sometimes there are things that escape that shouldn't be there when the gut is separating the good from the bad, and so the bad should be excreted, but you find some are escaping. Are there any food substances that we need to be wary of, that we need to be careful of, or maybe tablets? Okay, we won't mention the brands, but maybe some tablets that we need to be aware of that have that kind of an effect where they can affect and the bad kind of escapes to the brain?
It's a bit of a controversial question.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really, specifically say is a particular kind of, drug or medication or, compound, because you will have researchers that, say that evidence has shown that this particular medication for pain or for allergies or for blood pressure, have been used for a long period of time, and there is no proof, or scientific reason to say that these medications have any negative impact on the body. But, there are some researchers also who have found that excessive use of some of these medications, especially for pain, medication for even brain function, what is commonly prescribed for brain function for children that are neurodiverse, for example, have long, standing effects on the body. So what I usually do, because, I think with medication, you always have to use the principle of, good or bad, how much of it is good and how, So if the body gives you 80, if the medication is 80% good, and you kind of like overlook the 20% of the side effects, pretty much. So because there is no chemical compound which is 100% good, because it is foreign to your body. So you look at the greater good. So what I usually do is to constantly make sure that I give my children food that helps their bodies detoxify what the body doesn't need.
Okay, so like your greens, for example.
Your greens, your beets, your beetroot. Beetroot is very, very good for detoxifying, your kale, your spinach, pretty much things like that. And I also give them there's a blend of herbs that you can give them that helps the body detoxify the liver, especially.
And this you can take yourself as well.
Yes, you can look for things called hepatic support supplements.
Hepatic connected to the liver.
Yes, hepatic support supplements. So this would be a combination of different herbs that would help to support the liver. There's a lot right now on the market, which is really helpful because natural, holistic, healing has been made accessible to us in our big retailers that sell most of the pharmaceutical products.
So how can I, as in my family, make sure that we are eating to heal the body, we are eating to improve the immune system, not only that, but also to heal the body and restore it from whatever that might have been lost? I've learned that people do get ministered to where anxiety is concerned. Some do have bipolar, but it's manageable with the way they also prepare their food. So how can we eat to heal the body? And
this call is now being recorded.
Hello, Ritabile?
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think, just like you plan your life, right? We live in a world where you've got to plan, right? You've got to plan your day. You've got to plan your routes to work. You also need to plan what you eat. I think, in the society that we live in where we're so busy, lack of planning is the greatest culprit because you just end up eating what's easy to make.
Noodles.
Eggs.
Takeaways.
I'm also a culprit, myself included. I think in the past couple of months, we've eaten a lot more takeaways than is common in my household. Takeaways are eaten like once a month in my household. But it's been a lot more frequent, obviously, because we are so busy. But even in that, we are very specific about what it is that we order. So planning your meals is important. Make sure that the carbohydrates that you also eat are good for you. You don't want to be buying white bread. White bread is not good for you. The minute it hits your tongue, it turns into sugar. So that is also inflammatory. So you want to look at more whole foods, like your full grains, your wheat, unless you are allergic to wheat, unless there is an indication that when you've eaten wheat, you get bloated or the behavior of your children changes, then you want to look for other alternatives like rye bread. When it comes to pap also, I know we like our very, very white pap. It's got to be white. But what we don't realize is that pap that is white has been stripped of fiber. Okay. It has been stripped of, nutrients, the good stuff.
So we should be running back to mabele.
We should actually be running back to mabele. That's what I buy. Okay. So I buy mabele. I also buy what is called polenta, which is pretty much your yellow pap. You know that yellow pap that we eat when there's a famine? Mm-hmm. That is the nutritious kind of pap, that yellow one. So that's the one we also buy. And then, then there is also the choice of buying the GMO-free pap.
Okay.
There's a particular brand on the market now which is really accessible in most shops. I've seen the GMO-free BAP, which is great. GMO stands for genetically modified organisms, which are, you've manipulated the DNA of a plant so that you can get a better yield and it's less resistant to pests, to pests and all of that. But that also is a problem because these are genetic molecules that can impact on your genetic makeup, even in your, your gut environment, and your blood. So there's a lot, to be aware of. But you can also do these things on a budget, because a lot of people say, oh, that's so expensive. We've been able to do that on a budget. So I would say, it's possible, but a lot of thought needs to go into what you eat. I always make sure that, if I pass by a place, down the road where they're selling fresh leaves, there's always fresh leaves in my freezer. You cut, you chop, you put them in there so that when you need to eat greens, they're already chopped and ready in the freezer. Buy bones ahead of time, as I've spoken, that bones are also a great gut healing source of protein with collagen, with elastin, with calcium.
I've heard of mautwana, chicken feet a lot.
Chicken feet as well. Chicken feet is my favorite. We always have things like that. We've gone back to more of the kind of foods that we grew up eating because I honestly believe that we are stronger, we are more resistant to sickness and disease, and we have better cognitive function, because of the types of foods we ate. They were more organic, more natural, and so in my household, my children's condition has really forced me to, do my research and understand why we ate the foods that we ate. Beans are also really good. Legumes are really, really great, with omega-3s, and they're a good source of protein as well. It helps with cognitive function, so there is a lot that is already available to us that we need to incorporate in what in our diet. Apples are also very good.
Avocados.
Avocados,
okay.
Yes. Avocado is also very good. It's a superfood. It is high in monounsaturated fats. It helps to stabilize the blood sugar, so you are fuller for longer. It's also rich in vitamin K, which helps to improve cognitive function. I'm talking about being able to concentrate and to retain memory. So if your children don't like to eat avo as it is, you can hide it in a smoothie. Put yogurt, put some fruit in there and hide, the avo in the smoothie.
Sure. Let me ask you a question about fermentation. You spoke about fermentation last time, the natural way, because now of late, when we do even cook our mabele pap, we would just quickly put in vinegar. Because it's quicker. It's quicker. I've heard that vinegar is not that bad, but we have these also blocks. I forgot what people call them. It's like they're yeast-like, and so people would throw that into the food as well, just to make it speed up. And then this pap, so they don't do natural fermentation. How important is it for our gut to have, naturally fermented food?
Just like any synthetic, compound is harmful because the body doesn't really know how to deal with it. It was never meant for the body to process it. It does cause some inflammation. So the process of trying to bypass, the fermentation process in the natural foods is not very helpful. You can have the taste you want and the feel you want, but you will not get the benefits you hope to get. Because the fermentation process involves the conversion of those molecules of, your grains and, whatever it is that you're fermenting into, easily digestible sugar, for your body. And also it allows, the process of, for your natural good healthy bacteria to thrive and to grow. So this would be your probiotics. So the grain works like food for them, and in the process it helps to digest that grain a little bit more. So by the time you eat, it's very, very gentle on your gut. It doesn't require your gut to work hard to break the wheat, to break the corn, to break, the barley or the rice or the oats, So that's why, it's suggested that before you cook your grains, soak them first in water.
Okay.
So that,
Soften them.
They are softened so that it's not so difficult for your gut to process them. So I would say natural fermentation is God's way. It's the best way. It doesn't have to take long. If you get yourself into a rhythm, which goes back to planning, that you want to start doing this every day, or, in terms of incorporating this type of food in your diet. At the beginning of the week, you take 2 cups or 3 cups of, mabele, and you put them in a bowl, you put some warm water, and you leave it in the sun, in the window that's close to the sun, and you go to work. Chances are when you come back, the fermentation process would have started. Then you cook it in the morning as porridge.
And it
you
smells
put it in
so
the fridge.
good.
And you put it in the fridge. It can be had cold, it can be had with a little bit of milk, So I do that a lot. And I actually do need to start because I went through a bit of I'm really exhausted kind of season. So I need to get back on the wagon myself.
Yeah. It also, the smell says, because we eat, I've noticed how even my son would eat with his nostrils first before he can eat with taste with his mouth. And so the smell differs from the one that you wanted to do quickly, the one that you just poured in vinegar.
Yeah.
No, there's this welcoming smell about it when it's done the natural way and all that. What about moringa? As we are wrapping up, because we've had a lot of people now selling moringa, growing moringa, and a lot of people taking in moringa to heal, to give them energy. And it's called a superfood because people don't want to go the supplement, the tablets and stuff, but they would rather go the natural moringa way. What about moringa? Is it also safe to have it in your planning for your family or for yourself?
Yes, absolutely. Most plants, are rich in flavonoids, antioxidants, alkaloids. All of these are very good for helping your body to detoxify. And they are rich in vitamin C. So moringa is no different. It is at least 7 times,
stronger.
The leaves have 7 times more vitamin C than oranges, actually, which is very, very interesting. And it has 15 times more potassium than bananas. So it's a good, it's definitely a good alternative. It has protein, calcium, amino acids, and all of these help to heal and build muscle and boost the immune system. But it doesn't taste so great. I've tried moringa and I honestly could not stomach moringa. So I would stick with my greens, bolishwa, the borapa, Those are my go-to greens, as I have been raised.
Wheatgrass as well.
Yeah, wheatgrass, things that are, I like my food to be tasty, healthy, but tasty.
All right. Your message to us is we are learning to heal ourselves and allowing the food to heal us. Should we be consulting doctors first before we can embark on a diet change where we will be involving more greens and, fermented food, avoiding body white bread and white sugar, white pap, avoiding GMO foods, because now this is what is out there. The bread, you find it has that, most of our food are modified. You spoke
Yes.
about pap. You say go for the yellow one. Some of us are wondering, where am I going to begin? How do I get the yellow one? Which, store sells? I'm not going to give stores and brands, but which store
Yeah.
sells the yellow one? So we're asking ourselves these questions and stuff. So as we are wrapping up, do we start with the doctors, getting advices from the doctor, or you can just go into the greens and see the change in your life? Or is there a way of finding out more about these food?
I honestly, feel like, think that we live in an age where information is readily available on the internet. Go to YouTube, for instance, and go and look for, how to heal the gut, ways in which of healing the gut, and just learn a little bit more for yourself. I honestly do not think that going to the doctor, is necessary, because you're not really like doing a drastic life change, like cutting proteins altogether, being on some special diet. I'm just, encouraging us to move towards more homemade meals, and healthier dietary options. And you will also find that when your gut is healed, then the medication you take works better, because it's in an environment where it can be absorbed in a healthy environment. The bioavailability is increased, and therefore the efficacy. So, all around, your doctors will thank you for, embarking on a healthy diet. Your doctors will also always advise us to exercise, because exercise is so important in helping the brain function and even movement of food in the gut.
All right. Ritavile, thank you so much. We've had an awesome journey. We are learning. May the Lord help us. So many of us are diagnosed with this and that, and most of us, we learned later that whatever that we are diagnosed with is connected to the gut. It's connected to what we eat, and so thank you so much for highlighting these things, and may the Lord Holy Spirit help us to make our children better than us. May they become much better health-wise, so that they can rule and govern. But for those who would like to talk to you directly, my queen, how do they get hold of you?
They can get hold of me on my WhatsApp on 081 439 5339. And they can also visit my social media pages on Facebook and also on Instagram. The handle is @reach, meaning reach out, reach, AUTSA.
Can you repeat all of that? The number again?
The number is
081
439 5339. And then the social media handle is @reach, REACHAUTSA.
Wow. Thank you so much for highlighting these. You've been trying to teach us these things, and mohong we miss it. We learn new terms, the GMOs and all that. But we thank God, who cares about our health and our well-being. And yes, may He keep keeping you and your family. We can't wait to learn more from you and God in what you have prepared for us in 2023. And yes, we are grateful. Retabile, have a great one. Pass our love and greetings to your family.
Thank you so much for having me.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
And family, that is Retabile Molapisani. You can find her on all social media platforms. And on all social media platforms, she goes with the handle. I think that's what you call it, the handle. Her name right there is Reach Out SA. Reach Out SA. Reach as an REACH, then AUTSA. Reach Out SA. And she's an advocate also for children diagnosed with autism and ADHD. and she also empowers families affected in this regard. She's in the pharmaceutical space as well, and that's why she can also advise us on the food that we eat and what to avoid, and we are grateful for that. If you'd like to drop her a WhatsApp or call her 081 439 5339 081 439 5339.
Thapelo ya motho yo lokileng e na le maatla. Tswela pele go rapelela Radio Pulpit moshomong o re o dirang